Welcome to Destined to SOAR. I am Angelia Bills, President and CEO of Eagle Productions, LLC, a full service marketing firm. Joining me today is someone who has multiple years of experience in academia, corporate, and nonprofits, serving now as the Chief of Corporate Partnership Acquisitions for Maryville University. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Scott Chadwick. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Really happy to be here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you on the show. I've known you for a few years, so it's interesting when you're speaking with someone and you kind of ask questions, but of course this is for our audience as well. So, I was looking over your background and it's funny, usually when I meet people, and some people do this, they spy on them and go on LinkedIn and things like that. But I did not do that until I actually did the research for this interview. And I was really impressed with your background. You have a variety of experiences over a number of years. Just kind of give me a brief description about your career journey.
Sure. I started out as a management consultant, wrote financial software, and was in the 80s trying to bring technology into corporations. And I found that I really enjoyed making things work better, making things work more efficiently and effectively, and decided to go back and get an advanced degree so I could form my own consulting company. I wanted to get more people employed. I fell in love with teaching, so I went down the professor route for a while and worked in academic administration, and then just worked my way back into workforce development because I found if you can get people employed into more jobs and better jobs, it helps them, it helps the family, it helps the community, it just helps all the way around. So that's sort of what I've given my career over to, is help metropolitan areas and people economically advance.
Yes, and that is such an amazing mission. And I must say that you are a very humble person, because in reading your background, all this time, you never walk around and say, well, I'm Dr. Scott, and so I didn't even know you were a PhD until I looked at everything.
Well, that's a good thing.
I knew you were smart enough, but
no. It's how I look at workforce development. It's not about degrees. I mean, they're great to have and they're very valuable, but it's more about the skills. And it's really more about the person and what he or she wants and needs and to what they aspire, and then try to help their hopes and dreams come true. And isn't that what we want to do?
That is exactly what we want to do. And as I look at Maryville Works, this is a initiative that you are spearheading, correct? So just kind of give us some background about that.
Sure. 3.5 years ago, I had a conversation with Dr. Mark Lombardi, who's the president of Maryville University. I was doing workforce development in New York City at a nonprofit, and messaged back and forth with Mark, who I had known for a while, and just said, are you doing anything like this? And over a number of conversations, he invited me to Maryville to create it with the help of others. Certainly he and the board were looking at this. So the last 3 years or so, we've put a team together and really found ways to partner with local governments, local nonprofits, and corporations to advance people and solve business problems, resulting in people getting better jobs, getting reskilled or upskilled so they can follow their dreams, and so that companies can be more successful.
That is amazing. And I know that Maryville has a lot of online options that they offer to professionals, because most of your students are professionals, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we have more than, Maryville has more than 10,000 students. Approximately 6,000 or so are completely online. And so we see higher education as really having 3 legs to a stool. There are learners, primarily younger learners, who want that on-ground lived experience, which usually results in a degree. And then adults, and it could be all ages, but typically 25 or older, who are working or who are coming back, and they may not be able to stop out, so they go the online route. And then there's workforce development, the upskilling. All of us have to keep learning things.
That is true.
So we focus specifically on that, and that's typically not for credit.
And how long have you been at Maryville?
Just about 3.5 years.
Okay. And I can really tell the difference, just like from my experience of being a native St. Louisan and having worked in the nonprofit arena. It seems to me like in the past 3 years, I have noticed Maryville becoming more integrated into the St. Louis metropolitan area, you know, because for a time, I think a lot of people just thought, you know, well, Maryville is way out in Chesterfield somewhere, and then this is St. Louis colleges. So as of late, I've seen you becoming more involved, you know, with the workforce development and more involved with entrepreneurial development as well. So can you speak to that, what you're doing with the entrepreneurs?
I would give all the credit to our president, Dr. Lombardi, and the board for having the vision to bring the team into St. Louis or moving people onto this and really saying, let's bring what we do, which I can sum up in 3 words. It's access and opportunity. Let's bring that into the upskilling space or the workforce development space.
Yes.
And when I got here, I moved from New York City to come here. And I just said, well, it isn't just about West County, it's about the city.
Yes.
And I would mirror what Greater St. Louis Inc. says. The future of this metropolitan area really is driven by the city of St. Louis.
That's true.
So we went into the city of St. Louis and said, can we listen? Can we hear? Can we learn?
Yes.
And as we did that, can we help? Can we partner? Can we be part of this? And I am just delighted at the number of people and the number of organizations who said yes.
Yes.
And so we're just trying to be part of, I think of it as a consortium of organizations and individuals trying to make things better.
Yes, and so we thank you for that, because that is much needed. And, you know, I had that realization as well, because my firm is located in Clayton. And, you know, and I had Clayton written on all my business cards because I was excited, you know. But then I went out of town to a conference in D.C. and I was showing these cards around, and someone asked me, they said, are you close to St. Louis or Kansas City? And it was an epiphany to me that I need to put St. Louis on these cards, because no matter where you are in this metropolitan area, St. Louis is the economic core of our region.
That's right.
You know,
one of the things I love about Maryville is the legal name of Maryville is Maryville University of St. Louis.
Oh,
and so we see ourselves as part of this. And you asked about our work with minorities. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
So we have a multi-year contract with the City of St. Louis's St. Louis Development Corporation to upskill up to 50 organizations, minority-owned small businesses and female-owned small businesses, to help them advance their organization. And actually, we started out with 50 and we're up to 100.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We also have an agreement with the Missouri Minority Business Development Agency to do the same thing with their constituents, another 50 or so small businesses every year for several years. And we have the same agreement with the state of Missouri up to 100. So we seek to serve 200 or so minority-owned and women-owned small businesses every year for the next number of years, just trying to elevate and fuel their businesses.
That is awesome. And, you know, and that's major. That is really major, because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we discount training. You know, we think, okay, well, we know what we're doing. We're just going to go in this vein. But even I, as an entrepreneur, had to learn. I mean, I had a master's of social work, but I had to learn that, you know, but I didn't have an MBA, you know, and when you're a business owner, there are so many different aspects of your business that you have to have an understanding of. And so training is key.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we find, as no doubt you've seen with all the work that you do, there are things you do really well, and you don't need any help on that.
Right.
And there are things you know that you might, well, I could use a tip here or a technique there. And there are things you just don't know about. And so we see our job as being able to see the ecosystem and create bite-sized training, but then sequence those and let somebody come in and just take what they need. There's no pride in this from our perspective. It's here's 27 things. What would you like? And if we don't have it, we'll create it.
I love it. I love it. And you're building the infrastructure for these businesses. So I just commend you on that work. And how would someone get involved if they would like to, you know, sign up for some of the offerings?
3 ways. They can reach out to the St. Louis Development Corporation. They can reach out to the MBDA. They can reach out directly to me at Maryville University.
Yeah.
So if they just go to Maryville and type in Scott Chadwick, My email will pop up, my phone number, call me, text me, or email me.
Okay. Well, this is awesome. This is good news for the entrepreneurial community. Is there a cost associated with this training?
There is a cost, but not to the small business owner.
Okay.
So the SLDC and MBDA are paying for the cost for the first year of everyone.
Yes.
And then as people go through the training, we will have a variety of listening sessions where we will listen to what they're experiencing and ask them what more do they need, what more do they want, and then we'll build that. And then our hope is that they stay on platform so that we have more and more businesses and they can learn from each other over time.
Okay, well, that is a great deal, and I actually got help through the Maryville program. It was a different one, but there was a internship program with the School of Business, and so every year, I'm telling you, I go back to those guys for research programs, like they do marketing research for us, and and every time it has always been top notch.
Yeah. I appreciate hearing that. The faculty and staff in the School of Business are fantastic.
Yes. So, I just encourage all of our viewers to just look up Maryville. There's a lot going on over there. They are just highly involved in the community and they have great offerings. So, just look them up. Going down Highway 40, it's okay,
It's just down the road.
It's just down the road. So thank you, Scott, for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Sure. And best of luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.